this side of the Mississippi. Underwhelming. Not only is this a comedy show, but it's also my senior show, so the stakes are kinda high. This is the class where I need to pass in order to graduate. 5 months of training, meetings, and rehearsals. This whole thing really needs to go well. You've seen Saturday Night Live. You've seen Last Comic Stable. You've seen 70 episodes of the hit ABC drama The Rookie starring Nathan Fillion. But you have never seen a show quite like this. Now put your hands together for a man who won a small stand-up competition at an even smaller Christian liberal arts college and has done like 3 or 4 open mics since. He definitely wasn't crying before this. Please welcome to the stage the self-proclaimed funniest man in all of Greater Western Massachusetts, Reynolds. Oh, should I look? I should be down there. Wait a sec. How did we mess this up? We did so many tech rehearsals. How did we not go over this? Hey, everybody, can you guys just maybe close your eyes for a second? No, don't look up in the booth. There's nothing to see up here in the booth. Just close your eyes, maybe. Just close them. Don't pay attention to the man in the booth, please. Close your eyes. Close them, please. This is I'm putting my best. Okay, you gotta get the stairs. Stairs. That's a pull toward my push. Don't throw. Oh. No, I'm good. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's Reynolds, the funny white man. No more dubstep. We're done with the dubstep, Jared. I'm already here.
You told us to do this.
Clearly, the circumstances have changed.
So we shouldn't play the rest of the CD you gave us, labeled DJ Trace's Super Cool Awesome Dubstep Mixtape?
Correct. No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Well, you know what? Let's just get into the main course for the evening tonight, shall we? First of all, give yourselves a round of applause for coming out tonight. I really appreciate you guys being here. You didn't have to come out to see this, but you did, and I appreciate that a lot. This is my first full-length comedy special. It is not a part of a competition or at an open mic. It is just me for the whole time. There's no one to tell me what kind of jokes I can do or how long this has to.
Trace.
Yeah, what's up, Jared?
Yeah, we have to hurry this up.
You got it, Jared. That's Jared. He's the guy. We should probably get into this. I prepared a lot for this. I even decorated, because, nothing says stand up like block letters, big circles, and rug. To prepare for this, I also did some open mic at local bars, and that's hard, because before I can do any jokes, I have to get people's attention first, and that's really difficult, because we're at a bar. People are there on dates, or with friends, or just trying to eat food. They are there to drink and gallivant and then drink more. They are not focused on the man across the room screaming about the Ninja Turtles, and that's fair. I don't deserve your attention, and I'm not going to ask you for it. I'm not your algebra teacher. I'm not going to walk up here like, okay, everybody, it's stand-up time. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Hey, I bang a ruler on the microphone. If you could hear me clap once. You've all been brainwashed by that. That was so fast. That was almost involuntary. Here's what that looked like. was just involuntary. I've been thinking of ways that I could get your attention, ways to like hook you guys. And my first idea was to bring a drum set on stage with me, and then just and that's why I hate dentists. You guys don't even get the setup. It's just the punchline. It's stand-up in medias res. It's Forrest Gump sitting on a park bench. You don't know who this man is or why he's talking about chocolates, but you are going to watch him. But then I nixed that. It's too much setup. I need something more practical. So my next idea was to pay someone in the crowd to pull a knife on me. So before my set, the knife guy would jump up and I'd go, "Oh no! Everyone, this armed assailant is trying to rob this small cafe/bar/open mic. Have no fear, everybody." And then I'd march off into the crowd, grab the knife guy by the nape of the neck and the seat of his pants, and then comedically throw him out of the bar like Popeye the Sailor. That would turn some heads. But eventually, that would get old, so I'd have to keep upping the ante, When the knife bit gets old, I'd take jujitsu for years. And then before my set, an armed militia, armed with machine guns, would approach the venue, and then I would proceed to crane kick them through 6 panes of glass. Honey, stop gazing into my eyes. That stand-up comedian just did jujitsu. I'd like to hear what he has to say. But even with time, that would get old. So when that gets old, I devote my life to studying the dark arts. And then, if I get heckled on stage, I would simply Dementor soul suck out the heckler's life force. Like, yeah, you called me a loser on stage, but now your soul's in purgatory. Who's the alpha of the situation now? That'll be my big opener. It'll be violence. Originally, I'm from Florida, so I've only been in the Northeast for about 4 years now, give or take. And I feel like I've gotten used to most of the silly little happenings that go on here. But there are some things that I feel like I won't ever be used to. The roads, for one thing. The roads here are awful. Who paved these roads? Every time I drive here, I feel like I'm on a poorly paved purgatory. Right now, it seems like the roads were paved by a 3-year-old with a bucket of mud. Back in the motherland, the promised land of sand and sunscreen, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, we have what's called a grid system. And that means that the roads are made up of straight lines and they're numbered. For example, my house is located on 26th Street, and then the street over is 27th Street, and then 28th Street, and 29th Street, and then Avocado Street. But we don't like to talk about Avocado Street. The point is, it's simple. There's numbers. There's order. I don't know what's going on here. I did not do well in high school math, and now I'm expected to use trigonometry to calculate the angle at every turn. An intersection should be a simple affair. It should not be one route that spider webs out into 94 different roads. And the names. What kind of war criminal named the roads here? Yeah, we got this really busy road that a lot of people gotta know and gotta get to. What should we call it? Let's call it Button Shop Road. Perfect. Are you insane? What kind of fairy tale name is Button Shop Road? Naming a road Button Shop Road is the equivalent of paying for your groceries with Monopoly money. I really enjoy complaining about things. It's very fun, so I can't help but feel that stand-up was just made for me. I like stand-up a lot. I haven't been doing it for very long, but if I had to pick a side, I'd say I'm pro stand-up. There are a couple of drawbacks, though. Like I wish it looked a little more physically imposing, Like I wish it looked more athletic or impressive. As it stands, the most athletic thing I've done tonight is run from the booth up there to down here. And that just about took 6 years off my lifespan. Exactly built for that. Like it's not the type of thing I can brag about on Instagram, you know? You know how some athletes have pictures of them at practice or during games and it always looks amazing? It is so frustrating. Like there will be a post of a football player sprinting down the field, wind flowing through their luscious helmet. And then they're about to score a touchdown and make Papa proud. Or there's a post of a basketball player flying through the air, about to dunk. His shredded muscles are glistening with sweat. You can see the awe and fear in the eyes of the other team. Or if there's a post of a golfer. Like, I can't really post things like that. Like, if there was footage of me practicing for this, it would just be me in the shower, like, yeah, the paper shredder bit's kind of funny. You know, hit up the paper shredder bit tonight. You'll love that. That's not the type of thing that people want to see. I'm going to get some pictures of my set tonight, and there is no shot that they're going to turn out impressive. Here are some of the action shots that might come out of my set tonight. Here's the microphone in left hand. Here's the, I tripped over the mic stand and now I'm embarrassed. Here's the audience won't stop laughing at me for tripping over the mic stand and now I'm crying. Those are some of the things you might see tonight. Peak physical form, nothing less. I have been trying to be funny for a very long time now. My first memory of trying to be funny was actually in preschool. I was sitting there in period 3, or shape seminar, as my school called it. And I was really bored. We had just moved from triangles to squares, and that really threw me off. Oh wait, there are 4 points now? That's what I sounded like. And so out of boredom, I turned to my friend sitting next to me, and I said, I'm going to glue my butt to this chair. And I grabbed my glue stick, rubbed it all over my butt and all over my chair, and I sat back down and waited for hilarity to ensue. Now, in my tiny, underdeveloped little pea brain, what I thought was going to happen is my butt would somehow be fused to my chair, and then I would proceed to turtle walk around the classroom with a chair sticking to my ass. And then the Seinfeld theme would play from no discernible source. I'm so silly. Like, isn't that hilarious? My first draft for this was just doing that for 55 minutes. And the other 5 minutes was to allot for all the applause. But it turns out that an Elmer's glue stick is not actually the most powerful adhesive. So all it ended up doing was making my butt much pastier than it already originally was. No, I will not expound on that. Now, obviously, my teachers took note of this display of hubris, and they marched me to the back of the class where we had a sink, and they made me take off my little khaki shorts and wash them in the sink in front of everybody. So there I was, exposing my Yu-Gi-Oh! Tidy Whities to all of my peers. And I think that is the exact moment when my childhood died. I instantly became like a grizzled busboy from Brooklyn. Like, life truly isn't fair. All I was doing was trying to have a good time, and then the man comes and strips me down, breaks my spirit. Unbelievable. And I think the worst part of it all is that my preschool was named Happy Land. I was not very happy in that land. Mother's Day is coming up. It's tomorrow, I think. My mom watched the live stream for this show yesterday, and she called me, and she said, Trace, that was awesome. That was so funny. But one thing, could you pick a better outfit? And I said, Mom, the whole point of the show is that it's kind of me, so I'm wearing something that, I would wear in everyday situations. And she was like, I get that, but you're wearing gym shorts! And I said, okay, Mom, we'll wear something nicer. So now I have a flannel on. That's for you, Ma. My mother did a lot for me. She gave me half of my genes, which I really appreciate. My parents gave me a lot of good genes, all of them, in fact. They also gave me a lot of weirdness, too. Here, a couple Mother's Days ago, I was sitting in my room, looking at the wall, and my mom walked in, and she walked up to me, and she pulled out a little necklace with a little tiny baby shoe on it, and she said, Trace, I really want to show you something. And she showed me the necklace, and she said, your father got this for me on my first Mother's Day, 18 years ago. And he actually had your birthday engraved on the back, because that was the day that I became a mother. And I stopped living my life for myself, and I started living it for you and for my family. And I said, Mom, that's amazing. Thank you so much for showing me that. And she said, of course, I love you. And then she went about her business. And then my dad walked in. And he walked up to me and he said, hey, son, if I'm being honest with you, I don't even remember buying that freaking necklace. And then he left. I didn't even see him go. I turned back and he was gone. I think he melted into the floorboards. I was Jim Gordon. He was Batman. That was in high school, and now I'm in college. I came to the Northeast to go to college, and that's been fun. But college is a bit of a confusing experience. You think with all the money that we funnel into this institution that we get something with a little more panache. Asbestos walls and eggs from the dining hall really can build characters. Everybody knows that college is just meant to be a slice of adult life that is meant to prepare us for the workforce, for when we leave home and finally go out and enjoy the real world. So, for my time here, I am convinced that the real world is going to be the worst youth group summer camp I have ever been to. A lot of things confuse me about college. One thing that really confuses me is the concept of mentors. Why do so many people have mentors here? What even is a mentor? Honestly, what kind of Shaolin system are we operating under here? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against learning from people that are older and wiser than you. That's how learning works. It just bothers me when people recruit other slightly older college students to be their mentor. That is not a mentor. That is a 22-year-old wearing a JanSport backpack. If you are introducing me to your mentor figure, then I'm expecting to meet Master Goddamn Splinter, not quite Splitly from down the hall. What is he even going to teach you? He's just another college student. All he can do is take edibles and give up slightly better than you can. And they're always smug about it too, standing there in the collared shirts and khakis, like, I'm super excited to learn with you during this season. I'm a microeconomics TA, so I feel equipped to teach you about life. Shut up, dude. Unless someone is teaching you the sacred way of the blade, you should not be able to call them your mentor. If it is anything less than that, just call them a friend. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. That's the problem with stand-up. It's just my perspective. I don't get to hear from you guys. So let's change that. Does anyone in here have a mentor that they remember for a good or bad reason? Has anyone had a teacher or someone that has helped them in any way that they remember? Opening up the floor. Do we have anyone, or do we have a bunch of Renaissance men and women? You, sir, in the back is flat.
You just want to know if I had... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Professor here, I think he still teaches here, Mark Steven.
Yes.
A great mentor-like figure who wasn't just a couple years older than me. Yeah, taught me a lot about writing and being an artist. So yeah, good experience.
What's the most valuable thing Mark Stevie taught you?
It's not about the time it takes to do something, or even if it gets done. You're organized about it. But as long as you take care of yourself, like that's number one.
So he was just a professor that didn't make you do work, and you were like, yeah, that's a mentor for me. That's good for me.
Yeah, that meant a lot.
I didn't do my final based on the sage teachings of my mentor. Does anybody else have a mentor that they feel like to share with? I don't know what that sentence was. Josiah, what do you think? I mean, person I've never met.
So I came in with ISO, and I received an email from a person who I thought was a sage. And they said, I'm going to be your mentor, I'm going to help you adjust to life in America.
That's one thing I've noticed a lot about a lot of stories. It feels like a lot of people did not choose their mentors. It felt like Gordon College scooped them up in a dustpan and was like, here, learn from this mentor. And then you were assigned the mentor. Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, so what I will say is that ISO orientation, great. Awesome. This person I later came to find out was a CS major who I would come to know in the next year that was about 2 months older than me and had no idea what was going on.
Sage, man.
Sage.
What did this mystic teach you?
We texted once.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right, actually. Anyone else? Does anyone else have? You man in the back.
Can it be a little bit of a different answer?
I didn't say yes. I don't know what that means.
I didn't have a mentor, but I was in charge of a program that picked a lot of mentors for the TGC program here.
Oh.
So maybe I'm the person you don't want to be talking to.
I mean, categorically you're not, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah, so basically I was a peer mentor.
Oh, and you helped pick others?
Yeah.
What was your criteria? Did you have a checklist, or was it just like, you know things, here, teach children?
Kinda. It was kind of like, first a lot of people had to apply for it, and that is...
You applied to be a mentor?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that application like?
It was a lot of writing about why I would be a good mentor.
What like, on that resume, what like jumped out at you like, oh, he had a close relationship with his youth pastor, this one's a good one.
Oh, actually, somebody, am I allowed to, I'm not saying who it was, but somebody,
Yeah, don't dox them.
somebody wrote about how they came from like a pastor's family, and so they like knew about how like pastors write well to prepare, and we were like, that's interesting. So we interviewed them.
And you chose him?
Yeah.
You know, I was looking for my opinion to be changed, but it has been reinforced. None of you have given me very valuable answers to this. You know, I can't rag on mentors too much, and that's sorry. This is hard for me to say. That's because at one point I became what I feared most. I became a mentor. In my sophomore year here, I became an RA, and that is the most efficient place to grow mentors. It's like how mold grows most efficiently in warm, wet environments. Mentors grow most efficiently when you're in a position of power and surrounded by people younger than you. I felt it creeping in small ways at first. My floor mate was like, "What should I have for lunch today?" And I was like, "Well, let's make a pros and cons list, shall we?" I stopped asking people, "How are you doing?" I started asking, "What's on your heart today, brother?" Disgusting. Eventually, I rolled out of bed and I was already in khakis and loafers. I couldn't even stop. Honestly, I don't know why I was chosen to be RA, because if you haven't already noticed, I don't take many of my responsibilities very seriously. A big part of my job was I was supposed to decorate my hall for the incoming freshmen, because they need a warm and welcoming place to call home when they're leaving their hometown for possibly the first time in their entire lives. It's an important thing that I had to do. So I was given $100 to do this task. I spent 10 of those dollars on streamers. And then I forgot to put them out. Left them in my drawer and kept those walls white as snow, baby. Our floor theme for this year is minimalism. Being a mentor, it's hard, it is. Luckily, I think we're moving away from real mentors now, and I think that's because we have the internet. We don't need real people to teach us how to do things, because we can find anything that we want online. My dad never taught me to tie a tie, but tie hole on YouTube sure did. Technology is a wonderful thing. We have access to so many things. Arguably, too many things. But whatever, I don't think it'll cause society's downfall until like 5 years from now, so we don't have to wait just yet. The point is, technology is wonderful in most areas. I think there are some areas where we're lacking a little bit. There are some places that I think we should be a little more advanced right now, you know? One of those places is drive-through technology. Our technology progresses at an astounding rate, but I think drive-through technology is still stuck in 1964. How can I FaceTime someone on the other side of the planet and hear them crystal clear? But when I talk to the guy at McDonald's, he sounds like, That's a messy one. I can FaceTime someone on the other side of the planet and practically see how many cavities they have in their mouth. But the guy at McDonald's sounds like he's talking to me through a soup can on a string from Milwaukee. How does that work? McDonald's makes so much money. They should be pioneering the drive-thru experience. I should pull up to a drive-thru, roll my window down and look at the menu, and an AI should read my facial expression and be like, "Oh yeah, this guy wants some chicken nuggets and a Dr. Pepper." And then a cannon should shoot it through my car window and into my gaping, frothing maw. That is the future of fast food. You know, a lot of people blame the drive-thru workers for how they sound, but I don't think that's fair. They're working their shift at McDonald's, not doing a production of The Tempest. They don't need to enunciate their P's and T's. In fact, I'd prefer if they didn't. Can you imagine how horrifying it would be to pull up to a McDonald's and hearing, "Would you like to make that spicy, crispy chicken sandwich a meal? It comes with our world-famous French fries and a shamrock shake." That's horrifying. I didn't know McDonald's hired serial killers. Another area where I think we're lacking technologically a bit is the hand drying game. Paper towels, they get the job done, but they just create so much waste that they're just inevitably going to end up in the ocean. And then a little turtle swims by and he sees the paper towel and he's like, oh yeah, there's no way that's not a jellyfish. I bet my life on it. And then he eats the paper towel, and then the chemicals on the towel change his genetic makeup, and then he's 6 feet tall, lives in the sewers, eats pizza, and fights crime. And nobody wants that. So what's the alternative? Air dryers. Now, I have a few massive problems with air dryers. First and foremost, they are possibly the loudest thing I have ever heard in my entire life. If you use an air dryer, it is guaranteed that everybody on the eastern seaboard is going to hear you. If you think you're outside and you hear a plane overhead, no. It's just a dude down at Wendy's trying to dry his hands. And you'd think that because it's so loud, it must be an effective gust of air that dries your hands off, right? Wrong! It's about as effective as a chronic smoker blowing on your hands. No matter how long you stand there, getting air blasted in the bathroom, you are always going to walk out of there with wet hands. That joke always gets mixed responses. You know what? I think you guys are hearing me with this whole air dryer thing. I don't feel seen. You know? I don't feel like you're seeing me. Here, let me show you.
Dubstep in the bathroom, Jared. Why would they be playing dubstep in the bathroom? It's supposed to be a door sound effect.
You are ruining my show. I might have said get an air blast in the bathroom, but you played dubstep, and now it's the straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't supposed to sound like that, but you get the point. Is it too much to ask that we have a machine that you put your hands into, and it feels like you're getting 100 little baby kisses from little baby angels, and then your hands are perfectly dry and also moisturized? Is that too much to ask? If the U.S. just put 1% of their military budget into the hand drying scene, depression rates would plummet. I'm telling you. But whatever. What do I know, right? I'm just giving a dream. I think I'm so invested in the bathroom experience because bathrooms have often been a very large part of my life. Here, let me tell you a story. In my house, we have a bathroom. You know the type. And in that bathroom was actually just a toilet room. So it was just 4 walls, a door, and a toilet. And when that house was first built, that was the end of the house. So it went toilet, wall, earth. And there was a lovely little window, so you had a view of the backyard while you were pooping. And eventually, my parents decided to expand the house, and they built a bedroom. And they built it around the toilet room. So now, it went toilet, wall, bedroom, then earth. You get the picture. But, for some reason, my parents decided to keep the window in the bathroom, but they just replaced the regular glass with frosted glass so you could not see through. And one day, my dad was using the bathroom, and I had the most wonderful idea. I was going to slap the bathroom window and scare my father while he was pooping. And everybody would chuckle and go, Trace, you're a comedic god, and we would all have a joyous and wonderful time. So I got up, I cocked my hand back, ready to slap, and I let it rip. And instead of actually slapping the window, my hand actually continued straight through. And I showered my pooping father with shards of glass. Now, to me, I imagine that this is the funniest thing that's ever happened. However, my father imagined these were his last moments of life. He was just peacefully pooping, and then the glass window in front of him exploded. And I can imagine he thought a bomb went off in the house, or a rapture happened. And the worst part of it all was that when I put my hand through the window, I couldn't really think of anything to say, so my hand went right through, and I just went, "Hi, Dad!" And wasn't the right thing to say in that situation. We are approaching the end of the show, and that's okay. But I don't want to leave you guys with just the classic stand-up ending where I tell a funny story and then I tie it back to a joke I had earlier in the set. Oh, but he already said. That's fine, but I want something more elegant, more theatrical. With stand-up, I just waddle around and I say crazy and kooky things, but in the theater, they waddle around and say crazy things, but with lots of lights and sound. Hey, Jared, can we get like a dramatic light down here? Ooh, man, it's a little much. Do we need to pump the brakes a little bit? What about like a blue light, pink light, green light? No light! Welcome to Underwhelming, an auditory experience. Oh, you know what? I just realized I am horrified of the dark. Lights on, please! Oh, God. I don't like when you look at me. Lights off, please. What about like a spotlight, like a real dramatic one? This is great. This is blinding. I love it. Can we throw some pizzazz in there, maybe? Pizzazz. Jared, you are a goddamn savant. Remind me to pay you more.
You forced me to do this.
Yeah, this is the tone I'm looking for. You know, all this cool lighting is, I think it's bringing on a deep feeling talk in me. I love doing this. I love being up here performing for everyone. It scratches some sort of narcissistic itch that I've always had it too, gluing asses to chairs. Here, let me take you back to my time in preschool. Let's trace this feeling. Oh, that's my name. All right, now I'm in preschool. It is a beautiful day at Happy Land Christian Academy. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. Look, sparrow. Caleb is doing that thing where he vomits on top of the slide and then watches it go down. Caleb, you majestic stallion. Everything is wonderful. Everything is perfect. That is, until Chase walks into class. Now, normally, I am only mildly perturbed when Chase walks into class. However, today, Chase walked in with a big cast on his stupid wrist. And everybody was fawning over him, asking him, "How'd you break your wrist? Does it hurt? Can I sign your cast?" That asshole. I wanted that attention. I wanted everybody to be looking at me. So that day, I went home and I grabbed a scooter wrist brace that looked a little bit like a cast. And I put it on and I went to school the next day. And I walked in and went, "Attention everybody, I have broken my wrist and it hurts so bad." They saw right through me. In hindsight, I probably should have given it a day to breathe. Chase just had the same injury on the same wrist. But, credit where credit is due, he was very perceptive for a bunch of 3-year-olds. But the point is, I had gotten what I wanted, attention. And it did not stop there. I always craved it, but I was never particularly athletic or musical or smart. So I felt like I didn't have anything to do that was worthy of people's attention. Because let's face it, no one really wants to see a chubby kid take a seat in the outfield during baseball or squeak through hot cross buns on his tenor saxophone. So I felt like I wanted people's attention and praise, but I didn't have an outlet to get it. I felt underwhelming. So I shut myself down and I just became the quiet kid at the back of the class. And I dropped my attention-seeking urges up to being vain. Now, let's fast forward to middle school. I'm a growing boy. Puberty has hit me full force. Full force. I now have more hair and hormones and more horrible smells. The only thing that could combat my atrocious body odor was a can of Axe deodorant. Nectar of the gods, baby. Girls will never stop loving this. I'm positive of it. I still felt like I wanted attention, but I still felt like I didn't have a way to get it. I still felt underwhelming. But then, the clouds parted, and light broke through the clouds. What's this? A sign from heaven? A gift from Jehovah? Is it something I can use to find my passion? Yes, it is. It's 7th grade English class. That probably doesn't sound very exciting. And it wasn't, for the most part. However, my English teacher had a bit of a flair for theatrics. And every once in a while, she would make us write skits based on some of the books we read. And one class, we read the book Treasure Island, and I was tasked with writing the skit for it. And guys, I brought the house down. I don't know what kind of bits I was running back then, but it really resonated with the sailors. I was signing copies of Treasure Island, taking flip phone selfies with my classmates. I felt like a god. And I remember walking back to my desk at the back of the class and sitting down and just shaking out of pure excitement. I remember being so energized from doing that I literally could not contain myself. So I was shivering in the back of the class like an excited chihuahua. And in that moment, it awoke a little goblin in my brain. And the goblin was like, okay, yeah, we are going to need to do that again. So after that, I put more effort into being witty, into making jokes, into making people laugh. And that might sound exhausting for some people, but it just felt natural to me. It felt like an inseparable part of my personality, like it was something that I was made to do. And now, let's fast forward to high school. Life is good. I am independent. I can vote. I feel like a real human being. I even have a car. She is a beautiful Audi hatchback, and I drive her everywhere. Sorry, she doesn't do this. Sometimes you just have to jiggle the steering wheel. There we go. I drive my car everywhere. And at that moment, life started to become more of a reality and less of a thing that was far off into the future. And I had to start deciding who I was going to be as a man and what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And at first I thought, of course, I have something that I love doing. I'll do this, and I'll perform, and I'll tell jokes, and maybe I'll try to make a couple people laugh. But I was told time and time again that this is not a career. This is not something that a man is meant to do with his life. And that if I even tried, I would always end up alone and penniless and washed up. And I said, okay, I guess that makes sense. I mean, this isn't practical. This is like a kid saying he wants to be a candy taste tester when he grows up. It's a pipe dream. So I shut this part of myself down in favor of doing something practical. That's the internal battle I was having in my head. I thought I had to do something that I didn't like because the thing that I loved was so unrealistic that it would always get me nowhere. And then I graduated. It was a lovely ceremony. My parents were there, my headmaster was there, Joel Satterley. He looked at me with nothing but admiration. And then I went on my way to college. College is fun. I do various college things. Here's me studying. Here's me in the dining hall. Here's me in chapel. You know how college works. And at first, I entered college as an undecided major, and then I planned on becoming a history major, and then maybe a lawyer, or a professor, or a person that does history things. I didn't want to do theater because that was my high school thing, and now I'm in college. I have to pursue a real career. But the more I pushed down that little theater goblin that I had in my brain, the more that little goblin pushed back. And the more I slapped that goblin down, the worse I felt. And that was until I joined a little group called the Sweaty Tooth Madmen.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
It's a small little improv group in college. I got too time for it. But I joined them and I tried to just dip my toe into the pool of performing. I don't want to be a theater major, but I'll do a little bit of improv. I don't want to be a theater major, but maybe I'll write a little bit of sketch comedy. I don't want to be a theater major, but maybe I'll do a show. Maybe. I don't want to be a theater major, but oh look, I'm a theater major now. That's crazy. And since performing, I have learned that being on a stage in front of people is the most alive I have ever felt. The ability to come out here and hold your attention for a ridiculous amount of time and get you invested in made-up people and their made-up stories is amazing. So when it came time to do this, to finish my theater education, of course I wanted to be on a stage performing for everybody. The goblin in my brain wouldn't allow me to do anything else. But I thought I had to do something austere, a genuine piece of theater that would make you weep and then throw up and then weep into the throw up. And I think that would have been a great thing to make for you all, but that's not me. I am the kid that glued his ass to a chair in preschool and smashed a window on his pooping father. I am still that 7th grade kid, shaking from excitement at the idea that I can make you all laugh at me. But I thought that wouldn't be enough. I thought being goofy for people on stage could not possibly be enough. But then I thought,
This is me. And I am here to show everybody that I am enough. My goofy, lighthearted, big slinging self is enough. This is supposed to be a launching point for me and for my career. And how in the world am I supposed to be confident for others if I can't stand in front of you as myself and be confident? This whole project is to show everyone here that this is enough. This is good. I am good. I hope you all enjoyed me, and I hoped I wasn't too underwhelming. Thank you.